When I went to the Scientology building the other day, I thought they were going to try and convert me, but they actually kicked me out. And now you're asking yourself, Dylan, why the hell were you at the Scientology building? Well, let me roll it back to a little bit earlier in the day. Basically, my car was in the shop for some mechanical repairs, and I just had to go for a walk. As I was out for my walk, I see the Scientology building. I'm like, wouldn't it be so funny to just go in there, see what they have going on, see if they can try and attempt to convert me? Maybe they'll actually convert me or just kidnap me. I don't know what they do there. So I strolled on in, and it's pretty nice in there. It's actually like an old private school in Nashville or something, and they've like converted it into their church and whatever. But I walk in, there's some woman there as the secretary. She's got like a very traditional ladylike fit going on. The ankles are covered, presumably. I couldn't see behind the desk, but it looked like a long dress. And she took down some basic information, I'm sure to try and follow up email and phone calls, like most people do with harassing people whose data they collect. But they were like, oh yeah, like what do you want to know? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, I've always just been kind of curious about your religion. And they're like, oh, well, we actually have a room set over here. So I walk into this one room, and it's kind of like a museum. There's a whole bunch of like TVs on the walls and books and like artwork and things about the founder and about the religion and just a whole bunch of stuff. There's a couple secretaries in there, secretary desks. There's one secretary in there. And like I shake their hands, some pleasantries, whatever. I walk around the room a little bit. I learn a little bit about the religion and Ron L. Hubbard or something. Ron L. Hubbard, I think that's what his name was. And as I'm walking around, at some point, this tall man walks in, probably about 15, 20 minutes later, and he comes over to me, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Pastor. I think it was Dave." And so I guess whoever, like, he's the head of their church, this particular one. And he's like, "Oh, your name's Dylan, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Dylan. Nice to meet you, Pastor Dave." And he's like, "How's it going? You learn anything? You have any questions?" I'm like, "No, no, I'm good." He's like, "Okay, well, I am gonna have to ask you to leave." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like, is everything all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, one of my staff members did like recognize that you were packing." I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't see any signs. Maybe there was my mistake. He's like, no, no, it's all good. I do myself, but when we're on the church property and everything, it's part of like our rules that you can't have that in here. You're more than welcome to come back whenever you want, learn about the religion, et cetera, et cetera. But I just can't have you in here right now. And I was like, yeah, nope, I didn't mean to offend anyone or upset anyone. And then I walked out and I got away scot free. They didn't abduct me. My kidneys are still there. Yeah. Also, my tongue is blue.